Tonight, crash carnage. A truck and 3 cars collide south of Adelaide. We're live to the scene.
An apology and a mad dash as 2 men accused of sparking a dangerous northern suburbs grass fire are released.
Rundle Mall blitz. Police stop and search unsuspecting shoppers in a youth crime crackdown.
How an Adelaide toddler's quick thinking saved his life after being bitten by a snake.
Too close to call, the final push in the race to the White House.
And an AFL umpire suspended over another costume party controversy.
Live from Adelaide, 7 News with Rosanna Mangiarelli and Will Goodings.
Good evening. We begin with a horror crash south of the city that's seen 8 people rush to hospital.
Let's go live to Mitchell Sariovsky at the scene. Mitch, a semi-trailer and 3 cars have been involved.
Yeah, that's right, Rosanna. 7 News has been told the driver of the semi was returning home from Adelaide after picking up a load of rubbish from the local tip when this dreadful accident happened. The truck collided with the 3 cars here on Main South Road at Wattle Flat just after midday. 2 people have been flown to Flinders Medical Centre and the Royal Adelaide, with 6 others taken by road to Flinders. Major crash officers are here trying to work out how this horror all unfolded, with Main South Road currently closed to all traffic between Yankalilla and Maiponga. It comes a day after this terrifying close call on the same stretch of road. Dashcam shows the moment a truck carrying sheep pulled into oncoming traffic after trying to avoid a collision with a 4-wheel drive that had been forced to slow down for a cyclist. And Rosanna, Main South Road is currently closed. It's expected to be closed for several hours while the clean-up is completed.
All right, thank you, Mitch. Let's turn to breaking news now. 2 men accused of sparking an out-of-control blaze at Penfield using an angle grinder have walked from court, but it wasn't without drama. Hannah Ford's there for us. Hannah, one has publicly apologised, but not the other.
No, Rosanna, it was quite a spectacle here a short time ago when the pair was released from the Adelaide Magistrates Courthouse. One of them, 31-year-old Terence Hull, who'd spent the weekend in the cells, was in no mood to talk, making a barefoot mad dash.
Oh,
Terence, did you want to apologise for what you've done? Terence, did you want to apologise? However, his co-accused 31-year-old Andy Lockie did express regret and apologise to the family that ended up in hospital with smoke inhalation. Why were you using an angle grinder when it was hot and windy?
Do you think it was? Did you realise there was a total fire ban in place?
Did you want to say sorry to the people you put in hospital?
Yes, I would apologise to them, yes.
Yeah. Do you regret what you did?
Yes.
The blaze they're accused of sparking erupted on a Penfield farm on Saturday afternoon, destroying property and coming within metres of homes. The hot and windy conditions fanning the flames along Wamma Road. Today, the court heard Andy Lockie had been helping on his grandparents' property, as he often does when the fire began, and that Terence Hull did all he could to try to put the fire out. Authorities say this case should serve as a stark reminder that anyone caught doing the wrong thing this bushfire season will be dealt with. The pair will return to court in March. Will.
OK, thank you for that, Hannah. Metal detectors have been used to search teenagers in Rundle Mall as police step up patrols in the wake of last week's frightening daylight machete attack. Jasmine Turlings is there. Jazz, authorities are leaving nothing to chance.
Well, we're heading into one of the busiest times of the year for Rundle Mall traders, and some shoppers have told 7 News the events of last week have left them thinking twice about coming here, but this might make them feel a bit better. A heavy police presence in Rundle Mall today. Our cameras capturing patrols conducting random metal detector checks on young shoppers. It's a declared public precinct, which means officers have the power to conduct searches if they suspect someone might be carrying a weapon. They can also order a person or group to leave and issue barring orders. Today's blitz follows Thursday's frightening machete attack involving 2 feuding youth gangs, the violence spilling out into the mall. 3 teenagers were arrested at the time, but police tonight have confirmed 3 other suspects remain on the run. Rosanna.
Thank you, Jazz. Two teenagers have been arrested over a bushfire at Port Lincoln. Emergency crews were called to scrubland near the Happy Valley Cemetery on Garrett Road around 6 o'clock last night. Aerosol cans were found at the scene. Police have charged a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old. The local youths have been released on bail and will appear in court in January.
Police are hunting arsonists after a Torrensville home was firebombed early this morning. Emergency crews rushed to Jervois Street around 6 a.m. after 2 Molotov cocktails were thrown at the property. They caught a light on the driveway but were quickly extinguished. Thankfully, there was no significant damage.
Adelaide's 24-hour pharmacies have been so successful, there are now plans for a new one in the city's south. They'll also soon be given the licence to treat more conditions, which means fewer trips to the doctor.
The demand for Adelaide's 24/7 pharmacies is exceeding expectations. Since February, nearly 120,000 South Aussies have accessed the new after-hours healthcare.
It's so crucial. I feel kids just get sick in the middle of the night.
The surveys are showing that at least a third of those customers would have gone to an emergency department, which was a shock to me, to be completely honest with you.
There's currently 3 at Salisbury Plain, Norwood and Clovelly Park. Now, the state government's promising a 4th to open next year, further south in the by-election seat of Black.
Provide a sense of reassurance for the many families and the many people with my community who need access to a chemist after hours.
Already, they've dispensed 49,000 scripts and taken 5,500 hours of phone calls, also delivering medication that under new rules allows a pharmacist to prescribe treatment instead of your GP.
Already, we have given pharmacists the ability to help treat people with UTIs.
And plans are underway to extend the range of conditions that pharmacists can treat. It'll mean fewer doctor's appointments, but not everyone is happy.
Fast food doesn't mean good food, so fast medicine, fast prescriptions doesn't mean good prescribing.
This includes for ear infections, gastro and pain management, but despite the AMA advising against it, the state government's pressing ahead.
We're giving pharmacists more tools to help people at the same time.
Casey Treloar, 7 News.
Police are investigating a nasty crash between a car and a truck on Eyre Highway near the Nullarbor Roadhouse. A man and a woman, both from WA, have been flown to Adelaide with non-life-threatening injuries. The truck driver, a man in his 30s, wasn't hurt and is assisting police with their inquiries.
The AFL is dealing with a new party scandal tonight, and this time it involves one of their own. An umpire has been suspended for dressing up as terrorist Osama bin Laden at a post-season function. Rochelle Brown has the fallout from league headquarters.
Rosanna, experienced field umpire Lee Hawson has been banned from round 1 of next season after he admitted to dressing up as Osama bin Laden at an end-of-season function. The event was held the day after the grand final in a private room at a Melbourne restaurant. The theme on the day, characters from the 2000s. The league says there were no skits involved and Hawson changed into the costume at the venue and wore a mask for a short period of time. He's apologised today, saying, "I am sorry. I made an error of judgment. I never intended to offend anyone." This party scandal comes just weeks after 13 GWS Giants players were sanctioned for wearing distasteful and offensive costumes during their Wacky Wednesday celebrations. They also referenced the September 11 terrorist attack. The harshest sanction for one of the GWS players was a 6-week ban. As it stands tonight, Lee Hawson will miss just 1 game. Rosanna?
All right, thank you, Rochelle. Let's turn overseas now, where Donald Trump's ramped up his violent rhetoric, telling supporters he wouldn't mind if someone shot at journalists.
The race to the White House is still a dead heat as the rivals battle in favour in the states that could hand them the keys to the Oval Office. As Tim Lester reports, Donald Trump today zoning in on Pennsylvania, North Carolina and Georgia.
Taking another swing.
To get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. And I don't mind that so much.
Team Trump says the Republican candidate was stating the media was in danger and he was looking out for their welfare.
It was a pretty blatant attempt at spinning what Donald Trump said.
It's coming from the fake news. They twist and turn every word the man says.
From someone who's been on the receiving end, a former House Speaker whose husband was attacked.
Our family has experienced the violence. Where is Nancy? Where is Nancy? Coming coming into our house, violating the sanctity of our home.
Trump escalating his vote-rigging claims.
But these are crooked people.
Regrets, too, about relinquishing the White House to Joe Biden almost 4 years ago.
I shouldn't have left. I mean, honestly.
No celebrity endorsements, rather Trump signalling he's all in for America.
The same people that were at Diddy's parties are not on this stage for Trump.
This is a new single-state poll suggests small-town America might not be as glued to Donald Trump as many had thought. The Iowa poll suggests Kamala Harris is narrowly ahead in a state that Trump has dominated since he first ran.
They just announced a fake poll. Hey, think of it. Right before the election, that I'm 3 points down. I'm not down in Iowa.
In North Carolina, Tim Lester, 7 News.
And let's go to US Bureau Chief David Woiwod, who's in Washington, D.C.
And David, hours out from the election and states are preparing for anything.
They are. Good evening, guys. And look, at anyone that now tells you they know how this election race is going to end is either lying or having a total stab in the dark. The very best numbers and analysis on this is still pointing to a statistical dead heat, meaning that this race is still either candidates to win or lose. Now, anecdotally speaking, having driven thousands of kilometres now across a number of those crucial battleground states, I can tell you that there is a deep sense of exhaustion across the country. But beyond that, I can also tell you that this time around, many Americans, they are very unwilling to express their political opinions with any conviction. Now, whether or not that is having a bearing on this polling, well, we will find out soon enough. But what we do now know is that both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, they have under 30 hours to convince those all-important undecided voters.
We thank you for our sister. We thank you for how you have lifted her up.
Seeking Sunday salvation at a Detroit church.
We'll thank you. On Tuesday, we'll thank you. On Wednesday.
It's nearly all Vice President Harris can now do in ultra-marginal Michigan.
So, church, we have 2 days. 2 days until we decide the fate of our nation.
Her 11th hour pitch to a blue state threatening to flip.
So, Michigan, I am here to ask for your vote.
Unconvincing for thousands of Muslim Americans living here.
It is my #1 goal to punish the Democrats.
It's punishment, they say, for an ongoing war in Gaza and the Biden administration's support of Israel.
A protest vote, so they're willing to risk some of the comfort that they're living here to say that we do not support genocide.
The community is brimming with anger.
And that anger could easily give Donald Trump the 150,000 or so votes needed.
We don't know what's going to happen with Trump, and we're willing to take that chance.
As Democrats take a chance on record early voting.
So make sure you fill out your ballot. I did mine.
Pushing Harris over the line. In Washington, D.C., David Woiwod, 7 News.
And 7's live coverage of the US presidential election count begins at 11:30 on Wednesday morning. The stress and strain is showing for Year 12 students across the state with the first SACE exams underway. Emotions were running high today as some anxious teens started considering life after school.
A sigh of relief for these Year 12 students who've just finished their first exams.
I definitely feel happy that I never have to do this again.
It was a gruelling 2 hours with math methods the first subject to be tested.
I feel like it went okay. There was definitely some thinkers in there.
General maths was next in line.
I think they're all pretty keen and excited to get these exams underway and over with.
Though some were eager to be done with it, others couldn't believe that school's nearly over.
It's very bittersweet. You know, you've kind of been waiting all year for this moment and now it's actually happened. You realise you don't get to come to school every day.
A bittersweet end to what will be a stressful next couple of weeks for both students and their parents.
I'm feeling like I still have a lot more to go.
Over the next 10 days, more than 12,500 students will do exams at more than 200 sites across the state.
Then the waiting game begins to determine their academic fate, time that these kids won't have difficulty filling.
I'm planning on sleeping.
They should get all their results on December the 16th. Madison Stanley, 7 News.
The finishing touches are being made at Flemington on the eve of Australia's greatest horse race. Officials are busy preparing for the 164th running of the Melbourne Cup as racegoers arrive by air, land, even sea.
A Cup Eve tradition crowns Call of the Card, where cash is king.
1,000 each way. $500,000.
Race favourite Caulfield Cup runner-up Buckaroo spent the morning relaxing at Altona Beach while his trainer felt the pressure trackside.
It's always nerve-breaking for the coach of a team to make sure that they're passing their relevant tests.
Over near the airport, 1,000 lucky racing fans were given the chance to meet their idols and pose with the $750,000 trophy. The Living Legends event was in lieu of the annual parade, which was cancelled for the second year in a row, this time organisers blaming Metro tunnel works in the city.
It's very nice, it's got a lovely feel. It's lovely that all the champions are here, and I'll be glad when we go right back into town. I like it when it's in the centre of the city.
So too would the 3,000 Sydney-siders who sailed into Port Melbourne this morning on a Cup-themed cruise.
The atmosphere begins the second you step on board.
The 6-day celebration features a fashion parade, fascinator workshops and a glimpse into the big day.
I'd love to call the race, but I don't have my binoculars.
Here's your binoculars.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Down they come, 200 metres to go. It's a race into.
Another 2 cruise ships will arrive here tomorrow morning, dropping off almost 7,000 more Cup attendees into Melbourne. The 3 combined expected to make up more than 10% of the total crowd.
With the 3 ships, it brings about $10 million to Melbourne.
General admission is completely sold out. The VRC expects more than 90,000 to be trackside tomorrow.
It's the race that stops the world now. It used to stop the nation.
Bethan Yeoman, 7 News.
Yeah, it'll be a big day tomorrow. Let's check in with Soder. What's coming up in sport?
Well, Crows fans next year could be seeing double. You're going to like this one, Will. One of their young stars, well, his little brother is hoping to also make Westlake's home. The international summer has kicked off at the G. Mitch Stark got amongst the wickets while the Aussies are in batting, chasing a modest total at the moment. And Mad Max comes from a long way back to create some history in Brazil. All that and plenty more coming up shortly in sport.
All right, we'll catch you then. Thank you, Soda. The Adelaide toddler who survived a snake bite. What to do if your child's attacked?
Also, Spain's king pelted with mud as locals take aim over the flood disaster.
A controversial red carpet arrival that has Princess Diana fans fuming.
And the Australian grocery black market, meat, toiletries, even medicine for sale on our streets.
A northern suburbs toddler has been applauded for his courage after he was bitten on the foot by deadly eastern brown.
Little Ezra's mum has told 7 News she was inside doing the laundry when her clever 2-year-old suddenly yelled out, "Snake."
Little Ezra is still learning to talk, but there's one word he already knows well.
Snake. Snake.
I said to Ezra, now where did it get you? I cried. I was shaking.
The 2-year-old was playing in the backyard of his Port Wakefield home when he felt a sharp pain in his foot. He immediately raced inside to alert his mum.
I saw the bite mark and yeah, it was just extremely scary, to be honest.
As his frantic parents rang 000, they saw the eastern brown slither out of sight. Ezra was flown to the Women's and Children's Hospital, his family fearing the worst.
To have that thought of my son is going to die, you know, we're just about to lose our little man, there's no words to describe that.
Fortunately, the bite was dry, meaning no poison had been injected. But if there had been, doctors believe Ezra's quick thinking could have well saved his life.
The fact that he could identify what a snake was fantastic for him, that he could get that message across to mum straight away.
Experts say all children should be taught about the dangers of venomous creatures by the time they turn 3. It could be as simple as reading a picture book and telling them what to do if they encounter a snake.
It's a lesson this clever toddler has mastered.
We still have our little man, and to have him here is just a blessing.
Jasmine Turlings, 7 News.
Outraged flood survivors have hurled mud and accusations of murder at Spain's king on a royal visit to the disaster zone. They say by the time they were warned about the danger, homes and lives were already lost.
He came to express his sympathy. He was met with their scorn. Murderers, murderers, chant the flood survivors, hurling mud and more insult at King Felipe of Spain. Queen Letizia visibly shaken with dirt on her face. Told she doesn't want for anything by a victim. Mounted police and security forcing crowds back, still the king continued. This is one source of anger. By the time official alerts arrived, these residents' homes had been destroyed, their loved ones killed. Another is the response. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's convoy was attacked too, because it's volunteers, not police or military personnel at their front doors.
Please, the dead are still in the garages. Families are looking for their relatives and friends.
Adding to the outrage, in the wealthy parts of Valencia, there's no sign a natural disaster struck because the River Turia that used to run beneath this bridge was redirected after a flood in 1957 near poorer communities in the case of a future catastrophe that has now arrived, killing at least 217 people with more storms on the way. In Valencia, Ben Downey, 7 News.
Influencer Kim Kardashian has come under fire for wearing a piece of jewellery made famous by Princess Diana. Critics took to social media calling Kardashian vulgar and revolting. The reality TV star purchased the crucifix for $300,000 at a Sotheby's auction last year. Diana wore the same piece at a charity gala in 1987.
Well, closer to home, and it's shaping up to be a mixed bag weather-wise for racegoers here in Adelaide tomorrow.
Amelia has the details from Morphettville. And Amelia, what can we expect?
Well, Will, while Melbourne is looking at picture-perfect conditions there, blue skies and a top of 26 degrees, it could be a slightly more eventful day weather-wise here. Now, if you haven't landed on your Cup Day outfit just yet, just know it will be warm. We're going for a top of 30 degrees in the city, but it could be a muggy day as well. At 2:30, the time of the big race here, there is a 30% chance or so of rain, but because it'll be around the warmest time of the day, then it's unlikely we'll see a great deal in the gauge. But here's where it does get a bit interesting. There is also the risk of thunderstorms firing up over the metro area from roughly late afternoon till early evening. Rosanna, that is when racegoers here will likely be leaving.
All right, thank you, Amelia. An Australian mother of 5 killed after undergoing cheap liposuction overseas. Next, what her family wants you to know.
The new inquest probing the police theory about what happened to William Tyrrell.
A new play based on Trent Dalton's love stories heading to Adelaide.
And catching crooks accused of selling everything from meat to medicine in a grocery black market. A grieving Melbourne family is urging anyone heading overseas for cosmetic surgery to think again.
A mother of 5 died after undergoing cheap liposuction, with Australian surgeons warning the risks far outweigh the savings.
Miriam Hardy is mourning the tragic loss of her mother. Layla Arwan died suddenly after travelling to Iran for liposuction and a tummy tuck.
She was screaming in pain, and they were doing nothing. They didn't do a single scan.
The 51-year-old needed to lose weight quickly before a knee operation and suffered stabbing pain and bleeding after the procedures. Those symptoms were dismissed by the clinic. 10 days later, Layla was dead.
And they neglected her the entire time, and they failed her. They failed us because we all, I believe, lost a great woman.
Iran is famous for cosmetic surgery, with liposuction now the most popular procedure globally. In the Middle East, it's half price, which is why Layla Arwan took the risk. Australian surgeons issuing a strong warning.
Well, cosmetic surgery is not like buying a TV or a fridge. You know, it's not just a commodity. You're dealing with your own health and wellness and potentially your life.
Miriam and her siblings want their mother remembered as a tireless domestic violence advocate.
It was a pure love for people and wanting to help people, and she did so much with not even knowing how to speak English that well.
The family is calling on the Australian government to pressure Iranian authorities to investigate.
A lot of sorries and a lot of I love yous that I wanted to say that I had no way of giving to her.
Karina Carvalho, 7 News.
The long-delayed inquest into the disappearance of William Tyrrell has finally resumed, now focusing on a police theory that the boy's foster mother buried his body after an accidental fall. Today, the coroner's court was reminded that only facts will solve the mystery.
Since William Tyrrell disappeared in 2014, there have been many changes in the investigation, a switch in the lead detective and theories into what may have happened to the little boy in the Spider-Man suit. Police believe that William accidentally fell from the balcony and he was found by the female foster carer and taken in her mother's car and deposited. But the coroner can't act on the belief of a police investigator. Detective Chief Inspector David Laidlaw, surprisingly, will not be giving evidence at this inquest, which resumed today after being suspended in 2021 so police could revisit the site at Kendall. The search was methodical and thorough. There must have been some human intervention for him to travel beyond that area. Professor John Olley is an expert in changes to waterways and soil. He said it would take hundreds of years for William's spider suit, the outfit he was last seen wearing, to disintegrate.
Deputy State Coroner Harriet Graham will hear from a number of witnesses, read expert reports and watch police interviews as part of this hearing. With all this additional evidence, it could take many months for her to deliver her findings.
Leonie Ryan, 7 News.
The full program's been released for next year's Adelaide Festival. Among the highlights, an international opera called Innocence and a new play based on Trent Dalton's love stories. There's also a group performing condensed versions of 36 Shakespeare plays in 8 days.
This program further confirms Adelaide Festival as the preeminent international festival of Australia.
And the festival starts on the 28th of February.
On a knife edge, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump neck and neck. Next, we take you inside the battleground state that will play a major role in deciding the next US president.
Home buyers in the box seat as Christmas approaches. We'll tell you why.
Also ahead, the crooks accused of selling everything from meat to medicine in a grocery black market.
And the disappearing act that left Coldplay fans shocked and confused.
Tonight's edition of The Nightly is out now. Australia's only digital newspaper to drop nightly. Free to your device every weeknight. Spend your night wisely at thenightly.com.au.
Returning to the US now, and it's likely to go down to a handful of Americans living in a handful of swing states for the election. One significant battleground is Pennsylvania.
The winner there will likely claim the White House. As Miley Hogan explains, its diverse demographic makes it hard to call, with the race still in a dead heat.
David DeFranco voted for Obama twice, but he switched to Team Trump in 2016 and he's staying that way.
He's really a good guy. He's really a big family guy. And I just hate when the other side just says all these awful things. I mean, they're calling him Hitler.
David lives in a small rural town in Lancaster County. It's Republican territory, known for its farmland and Amish community. A community he believes aligns with his views.
I'm very old-fashioned. The philosophy I always had was God, family, then everything else.
In the sea of red, there are splashes of blue.
I'm feeling excited to be able to have my voice heard. I'm a first-time voter this year.
The Democrats are making inroads.
As a queer person, I'm concerned about what will happen to my rights if Kamala does not win. I would definitely move myself and my partner out of Pennsylvania.
An hour's drive outside of Philadelphia, MAGA supporters are strategically targeting registered Republicans who don't always vote.
They can't skip it. We can't afford to have our people skip.
Both sides are pouring an enormous amount of time and money into this state, trying to reach as many people as possible. There are 19 electoral college votes up for grabs here, the most out of any battleground state. Winning it is crucial. It'll likely lead to ultimate victory.
Our country is going down the drain, and we need Donald Trump to straighten it out.
It blows my mind that anybody could vote for and support him.
A state divided, a nation watching to see which way it tips.
I'll be glad 4 more years from now when we get kind of like more subdued candidates.
In Pennsylvania, Miley Hogan, 7 News.
It's anything but a typical spring selling season as the number of homes going under the hammer and selling is dropping. Angelique Opie breaks down this week's auction figures.
Across Australia, 63% of homes sold at auction. The national clearance rate falling to the lowest all year. Spring certainly moving to favour buyers. In Adelaide, 170 properties sold, slightly down from the week before. A modest brick and tile home in Glenelg North went under the hammer for $1.5 million, nearly $500,000 above the reserve. The 3-bedroom home attracted plenty of competition. There were 22 registered bidders at the auction, all first home buyers and developers.
A stolen Porsche has hit 240 kilometres an hour. With a police helicopter watching from above, the car even lost tyres after being driven erratically along a Melbourne freeway early this morning. Eventually, it came to a stop with 6 teenagers fleeing. They were soon caught by police. The alleged driver was a 16-year-old boy.
Well, let's take a look at finance now. The ASX 200 has closed 46 points higher. Mineral resources tumbled 10%. Following news, its billionaire founder Chris Ellison will step down. One Aussie dollar's buying 66.1 US cents.
Coldplay's frontman Chris Martin took a tumble last night, falling into a staged trapdoor during the band's Melbourne concert. Thankfully, a staff member was underneath and broke his fall.
That's not planned. Thank you for catching me so much. Thank you, guys. Holy that was maybe a YouTube moment.
Martin appears to be okay, spotted at the MCG today with his dad and band manager watching the cricket.
He was lucky to be caught. And talking the MCG, the Aussies are dealing with Pakistan there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Look, modest total they were chasing, but their openers weren't really good. And Chris Martin's sitting there watching along now, enjoying it, so he's recovered well. And coming up, the run chase is on for the Aussies, but it's been a really shaky start for them. The little brother of an emerging Crows star is hoping he too can call Westlake's home. And SA strikes gold in Victoria with an even bigger target looming for our local heroes. Hello again. Well, Crows fans could be seeing double next season with Max Michaelani's little brother Jack, a chance to be part of the club's list in 2025. Now, if he is overlooked in this month's draft, the 18-year-old could still be offered a lifeline as part of Adelaide's Sandful rookie program.
They say there's no rivalry greater than sibling rivalry. Draft hopeful Jack Michaelani and big brother Max grew up competing in all sorts of different sports, with Jack keeping receipts on who was better.
Let's say probably everything that isn't footy. Oh yeah, of course there'll always be that sibling rivalry. So, I can't let him think that he's a little bit better than me. So always got to pump myself up a bit.
Now the dream is to join Max in the AFL, and the Crows' rising star has given his little brother plenty of advice on taking the next step.
Comes out to some of the games, and he'll let me know what I need to get better on. But yeah, he just says don't get too caught up in it all. Just enjoy it for the game it is, and yeah, just be yourself.
The Nord under-18s defender is hopeful he's either picked up in the draft or offered a spot on the rookie list. But if that doesn't eventuate, he'll have the chance to join the Crows as part of the Samples rookie program. It's the same path former red-leg, now power defender Logan Evans took before he was given a chance via the mid-season rookie draft. Either way, it's an opportunity for Michaelani to live out a childhood dream.
Yeah, obviously since little boy, always pulling on the Crows Guernsey, running around the house, kicking the footies around.
Harry Schomburg and Chris Burgess will wear Crows Guernseys again next year, but will do so as rookies. The contracted pair has been temporarily delisted to make room for the upcoming draft. Andrew Hayes, 7 News.
Well, a huge boost for the Power ahead of Sunday's elimination final against the Tigers, with 3 key players in line to return. Youngsters Zabby Dowrick, Matilda Schultz and sharpshooter Julia Teakle are expected to play as Port hosts its first ever finals match.
No doubt we've earned the right to be here, so we've got the wins on the board, and yeah, it's a good feeling, but job's not done.
The match is live and free here on 7, and the Crows are confident of upsetting the undefeated Roos in Friday night's qualifying final, despite going down to the minor premiers at home 2 weeks ago.
Going down by 8 points, we feel like we were ahead for a lot of the games in a lot of indicators. So the girls were really positive after the match still.
The Crows' bid for 4th flag will also be live and free right here on 7. Well, Aussie quick Mitchell Starc has kicked off the International Summer of Cricket in style, tearing through Pakistan's top order at the MCG. He took 3 for 33 as the visitors grinded out a modest total of 203. Pat Cummins won the toss and Starc made the most of the new ball.
Cannons into the stumps, Mitchell Starc. He gets the first of the summer for Australia.
With Coldplay singer Chris Martin getting behind the Aussie Yellows, spinner Adam Zampa picked up the crucial wicket of former skipper Bubba Azam for 37. From 6 for 117, the tail wagged, and then chasing 204, striker star Matt Short was out for 1, and SA batsman Jake Fraser McGurk followed soon after for 16.
That should be out. That's a frustrating period for Naseem Shah comes to an end. He strikes, he gets rid of the danger man.
Short time ago, the Aussies were 2 for 54 after 8 overs, needing a further 150 to win. And leggy Lloyd Pope has taken 6 for 74 as SA picked up back-to-back Shield wins with a comfortable 138-run victory over Victoria at Adelaide Oval. The visitors were putting up a fight early on day 4 before losing 9 for 94. There's some sort of collapse. Now, before today, only 5 drivers in F1 history had won from 17th or lower on the grid. Max Verstappen's masterful performance in a wet, wild Brazilian Grand Prix puts him on the verge of world title number 4. Lando Norris trails by 62 points with just the 3 races left. And Tottenham beat Aston Villa 4-1 after trailing 1-0 at half-time.
Madison going quickly. Oh! The seal set on an impressive victory.
And Manchester United moved on from sacked manager Erik ten Hag with a 1-1 draw with Chelsea. Well, the connections of Gold Rush guru have big plans in store for the Victoria Derby winner. The South Aussie colt etched his name in racing folklore in dramatic circumstances on Saturday. Now star jockey Jamie Carr wants to ride him in the race that stops the nation.
These prospectors struck gold with their 3-year-old guru.
Gold Rush guru for South Australia with 100 to go is pulling out. It's the stronger. It's going well. And Gold Rush guru won the Derby.
It means a lot to our stable, and I think it means a lot to South Australian racing and hopefully the public.
To win it was amazing, and to have Jamie Carr ride it was terrific as well.
But the South Aussie star jockey very nearly didn't. Jamie Carr overcame a broken nose to win Saturday's Group 1 Victoria Derby. Plenty of cause for celebration.
Harry, the owner, said, you know what fixes broken noses? Champagne. I have plenty waiting for you when you cross the line first.
I did check the bill and we had 8 bottles of champagne. So it was a good result.
Carr was just the second female jockey to ever claim the trophy, following in the footsteps of Claire Lindop on board Rebel Raider in 2008, who also hailed from the same South Aussie stable.
There's nothing better than coming to Victoria, winning a big race and taking that Victorian money back to South Australia.
So after a commanding win on Saturday, Gold Rush guru now has an even bigger piece of silverware in his sights, next year's Melbourne Cup.
Jamie came back and said, listen, I want to ride this in next year's Melbourne Cup. So she thought on the line he still had plenty left.
Josh Money, 7 News.
That is our look at sport. Of course, Melbourne Cup tomorrow. Any tips, you guys? You got colours or numbers?
Oh, based on my form, random number generator is probably the most scientific way to do it.
I'm going to say the map. South Aussie horse.
We'll get in early with the office sweep. That's about the
we'll
commitment
do
from
that.
this
That's
level.
a very good idea.
I don't mind that. Good on you, Soda. Thank you. Supermarket thieves are preying on struggling Australian families as a cost of living heartache reaches new extremes.
Now, 7 News was there as police smashed a black market grocery ring, catching crooks selling stolen goods on the street.
A makeshift meat market on the main street of St Albans.
2 for 10, not 3. You heard me first time.
From eye fillet to a pork belly roast, there's plenty of variety, all stolen from local retailers.
Meat, fish, there's cosmetics, expensive cosmetics, liquor.
Snatched, then sold illegally on the footpath in Alfreda Street.
There's people who just come and buy it at a cheaper rate.
Scenes like this have become the new normal.
Would you buy meat in a hot day on the floor?
Concerningly, people do. They're desperate to feed families for less and save a bit of money on essentials.
Come on. Where's the meat?
The demand is so huge, it's a seller's market.
You know, have a little box and do an auction.
Stealing to order. Like, someone would say, I need 20 kilos of meat. and then they'd go and steal that.
Victoria Police have started targeted blitzes to stop thieves in the act. This man busted with more than 10 jars of coffee.
Did you steal them to sell them on the street?
And face cream.
What were you going to be doing with all those products?
Police have a warning for buyers too.
It's an offence to buy stolen goods, so we'll be targeting those people as well.
People want to buy cheap stuff. I mean, I don't care how they get it.
Without any health regulations, the floor pantry also comes with major health risks.
Someone's going to end up dying from the salmonella poisoning or something if they buy this stuff.
Tyra Stowers, 7 News.
Amelia's back after the break with the Para Hills boy who had Spider-Man knocking at his door.
And in the city, we've got a warm day on the way. Maybe a couple of showers tomorrow too. I'll be back with a look at the full forecast live from Morphettville up next.
Exclusive pictures at the moment. A police officer's gun was grabbed during a violent attack.
7 News. Unstoppable. The most historic US election in our lifetime. Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. The first female president or the comeback of the century. With Seven's correspondents live across America, led by Michael Usher and Angela Cox, with Natalie Barr live from the White House. Hold on tight. Anything can happen. The only place to watch history unfold is on 7.
For Adelaide's latest news and more, tune in to Will Goodings and David Pemberthy on 5AA Breakfast tomorrow morning. Oh, time for more on the weather now, and Amelia joins us again from Morphettville.
And Amelia, tonight's the calm before the storm.
Well, that's right. Of course, everything's very ready here for crowds tomorrow, but also quite literally, we are expecting thunderstorms across parts of SA tomorrow. Tonight, though, as I say, the stage is set here at Morphettville, which is preparing to host a few thousand trackside for tomorrow's Melbourne Cup, and it will be a warm one for it as well. Right now in the city, well, it's around 19 degrees and cool southwesterly winds capped our top at 23.1 today. Across the state, well, we did see the odd shower late yesterday and overnight, mostly about northern and western parts of the state. Top temperatures range from 41.4 at Moomba today to 16.6 at Parawa. More warmth is on the way as well as a ridge of high pressure moves east tomorrow, making room for a weakening low and trough to move in and bring a bit of instability. More cold fronts are set to clip the southeast later in the week too. Interstate tomorrow, a couple of showers on the way for Perth, up to 22 degrees there, sunny and 26 for Cup Day in Melbourne. Back home, expect strengthening winds to whip up dust about the state's north. A top of 41 on the way for Roxby Downs and Coober Pedy, 38 the top for Ceduna and Port Augusta, with showers set to develop in our west and extend across during the day. The west is where we could see isolated gusty storms develop as well. They may very well reach eastern parts of the state late in the day, but they will be most intense if we do see them about the Western Eyre Peninsula. 26 and showers on the way for Port Lincoln, 32 the top for Clare and Kadina, up to 27 in Victor Harbour, 32 in Murray Bridge, and a partly cloudy 26 on the way for Mount Gambier. Now, given the forecast, total fire bans have been declared about our west coast tomorrow as well. In the city, after a low of 11 degrees, 30's the forecast top. We could see a couple of showers possibly from late morning, with the odd rumbler chance here too from late afternoon. On metro waters, we're looking at variable winds to around 10 knots, becoming east to northeasterly to 20 in the late afternoon. And taking a look ahead, a warm night into Wednesday, then a partly cloudy day in 25, a cooler 22 Thursday. We could see a couple of showers in the morning there too. A couple of showers again on Saturday before we warm up again by this time next week. Now, before I go, let's take a look at tonight's array of sunshine. 7 News can reveal that yesterday, right here in Adelaide, a superhero was among us. Tasked with a special mission, Spider-Man himself swung by this Para Hills home to spend time with his biggest fan. 4-year-old Anthony, affectionately known as Ant-Man, was diagnosed with a rare form of liver cancer when he was just 18 months old. But thanks to Make-A-Wish, the friendly neighbourhood spider came by as an early 5th birthday present. Before Ant-Man jets off to Movie World to meet more superheroes next week. Oh, that looks like a very special day, and of course we wish Ant-Man and his family the best trip, and it is Anthony's birthday later this month, so a happy birthday to him from us as well.
And from us too as well. Good on
what
you,
a thrill.
Ant-Man.
Good on him.
That's awesome. That is all the news now. We will have updates throughout the evening.
For all the Adelaide 17 for now, it is good night.
Good night.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want every minute of every day, including breaking news alerts. Download the 7 News app now.